Hello, 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 hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. wherever you are joining us. This is Married Live Show, our Thursday conversation about how to make your marriage work. I just want to know if you can hear me, if you can help me put that on the chat and also tell me where you are joining from. Let me be sure that my audio is clear. Let me see. So wherever you're joining from, please just let me know on the chat if you can hear me very clearly. Can you hear me? Let me just know if you can hear me on the chat. If you can hear me on the chat, just put on the chat for me. Can you hear me? I'm not too sure. Hello? If you can hear me, just put on the chat that you can hear me. Okay, let me see what's happening there. I'm getting an echo back. Can you hear me? Okay, I just want to be sure if you can hear me. So if you can hear me, can you just put on the chat for me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, let me see. Right. Okay, I will just proceed and I'm hoping that everyone can hear me clearly. My name is Chinde Chinde and I'm a life relationship and performance coach. And I help couples to discover their relationship differences and their personality differences so they can navigate all marital challenges, marital pain points in order to be strong, satisfying, and fulfilling relationships. And today we're going to talk about how to rediscover and rekindle romance in marriage. How to rediscover and rekindle romance in marriage. This is quite an interesting topic. Honestly, it is an interesting topic. And I think it's important that every couple um, consider this as very vital, right? And because if you don't, it has a ripple effect in your marriage and relationship overall. And we all know that marriage and relationship that we're in is for a long run. And I always say that marriage and relationship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you think about you spending time with one person for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, you could imagine how that will be because as humans, we are nothing from my side. Wow. You're not hearing me. Can you hear me now? Please, can you confirm if you can hear me? Please, can you just confirm if you can hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just was wondering if I was speaking just to myself. Thank you for confirming that. And as we discuss, if there's anything that resonates with you, please put it on the chat. I like to have that feedback. Okay, anything you want to write, anything you want to share, let's put it on the feedback. And I also encourage you while you are here, please put this in different groups on your status. Send it to somebody. You just don't know um, why you are sending it, but you could just be saving a marriage. You could just be helping someone out there, just like we're having this conversation today. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be speaking about rediscovering and rekindling romance in your marriage. This is a very practical and very important topic which every couple need to consider, and everyone in a serious relationship with their spouses need to think very carefully, because not taking this seriously can impact your relationship hugely. And that is why it's important that you pay attention. But before we go into the other aspect of relationships, what exactly is romance? Now, how can you define romance in marriage? I think it's very simple. This refers to the expression of love, the expression of affection, the expression of passion between spouses in a way that strongly nurtures their emotional intimacy, uh, nurtures their emotional connection, nurtures individualized desire between them. This involves deliberately, the word deliberately, intentionally offering thoughtful acts, thoughtful gestures, uh, thoughtful actions, behaviors that can keep the initial desire to keep growing. We call it spark. Keep the relationship alive in a vibrant, exciting way. And this thing comprises of various ranges of activities, ranges of expressions. So you can't say that you are in a romantic relationship when there is no evidence of gestures, evidence of behaviors and actions that foster this desire to always long to be with someone else. And if that is lacking in your marriage and relationship, it's a problem, because it builds the friendship that you once had in the marriage and relationship. So when we talk about romance, it's not just for newlywed. When we talk about romance, it's not just for some people somewhere. It is your birthright to have romance in your relationship. And if this is not important, why are we always seeing romance in the movies, romance in different dramas, in episode, in series? Why is there romance on billboards, on magazines? Why is there romance on the streets, romance in the shop, romance everywhere? There is activities that human beings cannot do without. It doesn't matter whether you're a man, you're a woman. There are various ways to express romance in marriage and relationship that is so critical to every marriage to soar, to thrive, and to be better. The challenge that we have is that after some time in that marriage, after some time in that relationship, we begin to lose that spark, lose that connection. Most people think the initial honeymoon phase, that's the only time we should have spark for each other. We should have strong desire for each other. We should just express love, kindness, actions, and activities that foster that we are really interested in this person. That is the time that we should be like friends. We should really, really be into each other. That is what we think constitute romance in our marriage and relationship. But that's a dysfunctional belief. That is even a myth. It's wrong. Romance is not just for the initial part of the marriage. Romance is all through. Is romance only the thing to keep the relationship and marriage going? Absolutely not. Because romance is involved in so many dimensions. You see romance in the hormones that is being released in your body, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, because of the actions, because of what you say, how you behave. But we need those expressions in our marriage and relationship. So let's not think that we don't need those things. So this is why you need to understand what exactly is romance. And this section is going to be so practical that I want you to think about your own marriage. I want you to think about your own relationship. And if you're not married, think about what constitutes rediscovering and rekindling romance in your relationship. Because this will go a long way to impact you. And let's also, remove the myth that only women need romance. That's not true. We both, because we have desires, we have longings, we have yearnings. There are things that we want to happen to us in our marriage and relationship. So these gestures are critical. These actions, these things shows to your spouse that you actually takes them very seriously and that you really want to be with them. Now, why will you be in a marriage, in a relationship, that after some time you start feeling, why am I even with this person? I shouldn't be with this person. We know there are seasons in relationships and marriages. There's seasons in your own relationship. But the fact that those seasons exist does not cancel the romantic aspect of every marriage. It's still very valid. Hence, it's important that you build it, you nurture it. Now, we've talked about people having romance at the beginning. People be so excited about each other. Spouses going every way to make sure that the husband and the wife remain cordial, excited, and continue to work together. But after some time, when the baby arrives, when the demands of the marriage and relationships, work, sometimes illness, challenges, these things begin to creep into that your freeness to be together and to be playful, to be fun, to be exciting, to say things, to comment each other. That begin to dwindle, begin to evaporate, begin to go away gradually. Now, these things happen in every marriage, in every relationship. So it is not a cause when you see that. The question now is this: are you going to continue in this path of lack of romance for all the time in your relationship? Are you just going to fold your arms and see this thing dissipate completely? And then you are now in that relationship like you never knew your husband, you never knew your wife, and both of you are just staring each other on the face like total strangers. You don't remember why you came together, what excited you, what prompted you, what led you. The whole thing is vanished because of the intermittent or occasional challenges and difficulties that you face. So we want to find out what makes romance fade, because you once had it. How does it fade? How does it dwindle? How does it disappear? What is the biggest challenge we're having today in our marriage and relationship? What are the causes? Because if you don't know the cause of something, how will you make it better? So this is why I want you, as you are listening, and you're going to listen in the replay, I want you to pay attention sincerely to your relationship, because it goes a long way to impart how the dynamic will play after this section today. So what are the causes? Now, some of the causes that we're going to discuss now may be peculiar to you. Some of them may not be peculiar to you. But whichever way we decide to go about this, it is critically important you identify yours. You identify what is my challenge, what is the block, what is the thing stopping, the obstruction. Why are we not the way we used to be? And sometimes I hear couples say, the good old days. I wish I remember those days. But it shouldn't be. The later glory should be greater than the former. So if you're not desiring something of less in your marriage after 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it is very important that you're below the beginning of the relationship. So something is even fundamentally not right. So one thing that is very important to note that makes romance fade is routine and familiarity. Over time, couple, they will settle into this routine. Pick the kids up, drop them there, go for the grocery, do this, do that. Just to-do list become the relationship. And then the excitement of those early days that they once had completely is gone. And that becomes a challenge. So if you're not careful, routine and familiarity about what is happening in your marriage and relationship, you become very transactional in that relationship, which could impact the connection that both of you will have on a daily basis. Another one is changed priorities. At the beginning, you vowed, you decided that both of you are going to be together, and you say you're going to work together. But over time, you start changing the priorities in your marriage, in your relationship. Your career now is number one. Your business is number one. A lot of external stuff becomes number one. The key critical things that used to be number one for you, which is your marriage and relationship, your family, your kids, is now secondary. So the pursuit of all these priorities can affect your ability to connect. And that can be very dangerous. Another one is busy lifestyles. We know that there's demand. You're working, you're professional, you're businessman, you're CEO, you're founder of this, you're founder of that. And this demand of work, demand of parenting, demand of all these daily activities to do list from your office everywhere, this thing can give you probably sometimes no time or energy for any romantic gestures because of the busyness that is now in your life. Some other people is unresolved conflicts. This can cause romance to vanish. You see, when you have lingering conflicts, lingering crashes, arguments, and this pain that you're going through, these unresolved issues in your heart, and this thing begin to create an emotional distance, begin to create an emotional barrier. You start finding it difficult to actually talk to your spouse, and because of that unresolved conflict, that will lead you now into breakdown of communication. You're not able to speak freely. You know, communication will entirely stop. That openness, that transparency, that laughter, and then you're not able to even share your needs, your desires. Your feelings are neglected, your desires are not being met because you're not able to communicate because of all these underlying issues that is bothering you and that is worrying you, and you've not been able to deal with. These things begin to affect romance in your relationship. Other people are just neglecting self-care. They're not able to look after themselves because they are so busy and they are so engrossed in so many things. Their own well-being is not looked after, their mental health and their overall lifestyle just dwindle and begin to go down, and then they lose this energy to even desire someone else or work with someone else. All these things begin to affect the romantic gestures and activities. Some people is technology. They are always on their phone. They are always watching TV, watching programs, episodes. Some people are just all the time on YouTube, on social media. Some people are just busy with technology, and they will be in the same room, but they are not conversing. This person is on iPad, the other person is on TV, another time the other person is on the phone, or the other person is on iPad. There is no communication. So technology is now what they are married to. And then the other one is some people are married to faceless friends. They're married to faceless friends in the sense that the only time they want to feel connected or romantic is speaking and sharing with somebody that is miles away, someone that they don't even know, someone that they don't even understand properly, apart from the online communication and interaction they've been having. That can be a big challenge for you. That can be a big challenge to your relationship. These things make you to be distracted. Even sometimes when they go out, they are talking to friends in different parts of the world. They're supposed to have 2 hours to have together, to discuss together, to have that time they've gone out, but only 30 minutes were used to chat. The rest was on the phone. Distraction. These things can affect the romantic gesture in your marriage and relationship. What about financial stress? You know, financial troubles can create a lot of tension. Couples are not able to see eye to eye. They're not able to balance their books very well because of all these financial pressures, financial stress, and all these things is imparting the ability to spend quality time together, the ability to work together, the ability to do things that can actually change the dynamics of their marriage and relationship. Some people is expectation that is not being met. So they have this unrealistic expectation about the relationship, maybe an expectation that anytime they come back from work, their wife will stop everything and just sit with them for 8 hours. That's very unrealistic. Or they just have this expectation that their husband or their wife will be able to read their mind because their ex-boyfriend used to read their mind. Their whatever in the past used to read their mind. So they brought that in and they expect him to be able to read their mind every day about what they want and how they desire. That can become a very big problem because they'll be very disappointed because the person they married is not a god and doesn't know a lot of things. So that can become an issue as well in the relationship. Some other people is just external stressors. I mean, you have this stressors that is so much. Some people are facing through a lot at work, a lot of family issues. Some people are just societal pressures, expectations, body image, all kind of external stressors. Sometimes in-laws and all that, just choking the relationship and the marriage, and they're not able to fully be themselves, to express themselves fully. Some people is just complete and total lack of appreciation to one another. Somebody's working so hard, somebody's giving their time, somebody's doing everything to support their marriage and relationship, but unfortunately they are not able to get there because the relationship is being choked. Why? Because somebody doesn't care, somebody doesn't appreciate the other person. These things can affect romance. And the last one I would like to talk about is taking each other for granted. See, after many years you have been together, after many years you have seen your spouse, after many years you've been involved in a lot of things, and now you begin to think, what's the point of putting an effort on this man, on this woman? What's the point of doing this or that? And because of the things you guys used to do before was working, you just assume that will continue like that without any for effort. And then you start taking each other for granted. And as a result of that, you see, you start losing romance. You start losing that connection. You start losing that intimacy that both of you used to have. Now, looking at all these things that I've talked about that can create problem and impact in your marriage and relationship, for you not to have this romantic connection with your spouse, which one do you think is the biggest challenge right now? Because we're talking about how we can rekindle our romance in a marriage, how we can rekindle this desire, this excitement. There's no point being in a marriage and relationship that you're not having this intimate relationship, you're not having this connection, you're not having this love and desire for each other that you once had. Even though now it should be growing, but now it's no longer growing because both of you are just taking each other for granted. So let's now talk about why is this important? Why is it important that in our modern marriages today we cannot overestimate the power of romance in our relationship? I know that sometimes couples can navigate a lot of complexities of the contemporary life, complexity about the modern life, trying to maintain romance in a lifetime. For some couple can be very challenging, but it is important. It gives a lot of satisfaction and also gives you that hope and desire to stay, prolonging the relationship as you guys continue to walk together, because it will help you guys to be more connected. It will continue to help you to discover yourselves at different seasons of your marriage and relationship. Your commitment to each other will be so strengthened. At the same time, you will see that your lifestyle, your conflict resolutions, your ability to satisfy each other in different dimensions will begin to increase. And overall, you will be coping better. And you will have this support, knowing that your spouse is there for you. And even the kids growing up in that environment, they will see the legacy of love. They will see that my parents loved each other and they showed it, they express it. So it's not just about you, the impact will also go into other generations as well. So, how do we now rekindle this? How do we reignite this flame of romance in our marriage and relationship? How do we make these gestures become real, fun, and exciting? Because most times we think it takes a lot to keep romance. There's some things that is just common sense that if you do it and you follow through, you will see the impact of those little actions that you take towards your spouse. How much is gonna rekindle and empower and encourage them to continue to love you all the day long. So let's begin by saying some normal things, some simple things. Because sometimes the simple things is actually the greatest things. For instance, morning messages, even greeting. There's a way you greet your spouse. There's a way you share messages between each other that goes a long way. For instance, let's say they are at work. You just don't know what is going on there. You don't know what they're going through. Maybe you haven't spoken to them anytime that day, and you just send this text message. You send this voice note. I know that things might be challenging, but I believe in you, and I hope that you will do well. And then while just thinking about you, I felt I should send this message. I'm grateful that you're in my life. These messages, you don't know how far they could go if they are coming from a sincere heart. Do you send regular messages to each other? Or is it messages of errand? Buy this, go there, do this. I'm not happy. The kids, this, that. Everything is just about sending someone to go and do something, making somebody act in a particular way, a message of correction, a message of rebuke, criticism, and all that and all that. That's all you send. A message you're shouting, you're screaming. Can you send a message of love? Message that can just melt somebody's heart? You don't even know how much this could mean to your spouse if you just do it even without them expecting it. Very, very powerful. And there is another one which I see that most couples omit: daily affirmations. Daily affirmations. And those daily affirmations is in the form of compliment, genuinely and frequently compliment each other. One, acknowledging their positive contribution to the relationship, acknowledging how far they have come with you, acknowledging their strength, acknowledging how they are overcoming their weaknesses, acknowledging the impact of their presence from professional expertise, from their relational expertise, from their creativity expertise. All these things is imparting your marriage and relationship. Do you actually acknowledge, daily affirm that this thing is important in your relationship, in your marriage, as you share with your spouse? And do you also speak positive words to your marriage, your relationship, regardless of what is going on? Do you have words that you share? Like there's some phrases that both of you share that just goes a long way to tell you that this relationship is here to stay. Do you do that? And then we have the one that in our modern world now is becoming very difficult for spouses to do it: quality time. We have 24 hours in a day. Whether you're in a long distance relationship or you're in a close distance relationship, for whatever reason, it is important for you to create time, either to talk on the phone, either to sit down, either to just compliment and talk about the day and connect without distraction. Nothing distracting both of you, just sharing your lives and remembering certain things that have happened in the past that was so positive, so impactful. Looking at your albums, watching something, discussing, just time. Do you know how many couples in our modern world today that goes through the whole week without any quality time together? Now, having quality time with your iPad, on TV, on social media, and having friends with a lot of people online, that's different from having quality time with your spouse. Having quality time with the kids, with your children, that's a separate thing. Quality time with your spouse. We say quality because we're going to talk about things that is very important, things that help us to know each other better. Ask questions: how was your day? Is there something I can do differently? I love what you did yesterday. Blah 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 blah. It's just spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes a day. Can you imagine your whole day? You don't have quality 30 minutes or an hour or 20 minutes to give to your spouse uninterrupted, without any judgment or condemnation, without making them feel like they're nobody in your life. Quality time. Remember, we're talking about romance is a gesture, it's an action, it's an activity that you do. By showing this expression of love, affection, and passion towards your spouse, that you desire them. It's because you want to nurture this connection. Human beings are built by relationships. We are built by connection. And that is why we don't have one person in the world. We have several people in the world. Now, the closest person to you is the person you share a lot of your emotions, your fears, your thoughts, your ambitions, your ups, your downs. That is critical. Being vulnerable with your spouse is romantic. There's nothing to be ashamed of it. It's very, very important that you consider that in your marriage, in your relationship, because it goes a long way to empower and to strengthen your relationship on a daily basis. What about cooking together? Just collaborating to cook, collaborating to prepare the meal together. Do you know that that is good? What about the act of cooking? Talking, discussing, sharing is another place to bond. What about shared hobbies? We all have our unique hobbies. Sometimes the wife say, I don't like this that my husband is doing. The husband say, I don't like this my wife is doing. But is there a way to compromise to like one thing or the other that the other person is doing? Or find something that both of you like together? But if you don't discuss and share, how will you even know that these hobbies that you like it? Sometimes you say, I don't like something, but you've not even tried it. You've not been involved in it. You just feel like, I don't like to follow my husband to do that. I don't like to follow my wife to do that. And you just conclude that you will never like it. But you've not even tried. You've not given yourself some time to see whether this thing is going to engage you. And sometimes it is not even because you like something, it's because you're spending time with somebody that you love, somebody that you want to show that you respect, you are not taking them for granted. Sometimes you just put out all these things that is a problem to you, drop it aside and just humble yourself and do some things. And at the end of the day, you could see that that is just necessary to make your spouse feel loved, to make your spouse feel that you are interested and you are also into certain things in their lives. It's not everything in the marriage relationship that you must like 100%. A lot of us don't even like our job, but we're going there. Why? Because you want the salary, isn't it? Sometimes you want to do something, but you don't really want to do it, but you're asked to do it. Or sometimes you just want to do it because you want to move forward in life. There is a reward at the end of the day. So why don't you just try different things and find a way to connect, even in those things that you think you don't like? Painting, dancing, gardening, going out, whatever it is. Just talk to your spouse and find something that works for both of you. It's so powerful. We have date nights. We have all this date night that we used to do before we got married. You go out, you are in a particular place. Now you are married, and we're not begging you to do date night again. When you have one another there, that's a very big problem. Okay, so date night is necessary. You can even be in your home. You can do your date night in your home. Okay, look at whatever works. Taking a walk could be a date walking. What's bad there? It could be date in the gym. What's bad there? Going out to eat. That was bad there. You know, taking a short break together as a couple. What's bad there? So this is very important. So try to create time or listening to your favorite music, watching something. What's bad there? It's not just pray, pray, pray. Yes, you're gonna pray together, which is another important thing I'm gonna talk about later. But there's still other aspects because we're humans. We still want to connect. We still want to do other things. Let's go ahead and do it. It goes a long way. Find out what works and do it. And then I have this one that is so powerful, complimentary day. You know, you just compliment your spouse. There's this day. You just know that I'm just going to compliment this person. Then you shower them. If you're not used to the daily compliment, which you need to learn, which is very good, which is very important. But if we say, look, I just today is your day. Mondays is your day. And I'm just going to compliment you. I'm going to do whatever I can. Wednesday, I'm going to compliment you. Friday, I'm going to compliment you. When it becomes something that you are used to, you now begin to do it every day because some people, it's just difficult for them to tell their spouse how they appreciate them, how they compliment them, how they are amazing, how they are wonderful, how they are pretty, how they are this, how they are that. They feel like, why should I do that? They already know that I care about them, but you're not vocalizing it. You're not expressing it. And because you're not vocalizing and expressing it, how would they know that you actually are serious in what you're saying? So vocalize your compliment. Say it frequently because there's nothing like making somebody feel loved feel desire, and feel wanted. You are in marriage or in relationship. We don't want those outside being the ones showering our wives with compliment, showering our wives with appreciation, showering our husband with this or that. And then, unfortunately, sometimes it might just go out of hand because the one they married never compliment them. What they wear, how they look, the way they cook, the way they handle things at home, how they walk, nothing. Then how do you expect your spouse to feel? And then when somebody does that outside, the man is angry. Or when somebody does that to the man, the wife is angry. But even at home, you're not even complimenting them. People are complimenting them outside, you're upset. Why don't you start doing it in the house? Let them know that you care about them. Another one is surprise gestures. You know, try to have a list of occasional time in the month, in the week, in the year that you just want to surprise your spouse. You just want to do something out of the box. Try to find a way to communicate with them and find a certain thing that they that means a lot to them, and then try to create ways, milestones in your marriage relationship, monthly, weekly, yearly, to bring that surprise to fruition, to reality, and then see the way they're going to act, see the way they're going to react because of what you have done. That is very powerful. And the surprise is something you already know that they like. And you can know that by communicating, by indirectly finding out stuff, by having that conversation. And then you try to actually do it. It goes a long way. Do you know another one that is lacking now is laughter? Some spouses don't laugh anymore. The house is so tensed. All those funny videos that they used to watch, you know, laugh towards each other, jokes that is just relevant to them. Those daily laughter is gone. And it's a great way to bond. Sometimes they say things about their bodies, about their relationship when they started, how they began, and it's so funny. And they just laugh over it. But now they don't even have time to laugh. They only have time to fight, time to argue, time to criticize, time to judge, time to try to stop. I think there's a lot of energy. Turn it to creating laughter. And if you don't know how to make your wife laugh, go and learn how to do it. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that can teach you how to make somebody laugh. If you don't know, you can actually take a course to make somebody laugh on Udemy, on different free sites as well. Laughter is good, it's like medicine. Very, very important. Then random acts of kindness, that's also associated with surprise gestures where you just show some specific act of kindness towards your spouse, which is really powerful. Some people in their relationship as well, no more physical touch. They don't hold hands, they don't cuddle, they don't show any expression of love. They say, well, I don't do that in public. Okay, that's fine. What about in the house? What about when both of you are together? You think holding hands is just only on the street? You think cuddling is just only on the street? You can do that at home. You can do that in the privacy of your room. How do you show that physical touch is important? This is how you build romance as well, how you explore and understand each other, which is very, very important to build that stuff that can help your relationship to work. One important one again is shared goals, whereby you set goals that you know that this goal will bring you guys together. You are working together on so many projects, on so many things that you want to achieve, you want to do, and that support, that connection, that intimacy in the process of trying to deliver that goal, execute and implement that goal. You see that you're working together, you're talking together, you're discussing together, you're growing together, you're saving together, you are working in fitness together. That will go a long way to increase your bond in your marriage and relationship, which is very, very powerful. And finally, love letters. Right? Love letters are very powerful. You can do this once a month. So at the end of the year, you say you've written 12 love letters to your spouse. You can even write love letters every week. In the end of the year, you read 52 love letters to your spouse. Who wouldn't want to receive love letters? Letters that shows a lot of expression, that shows a lot of deep thoughts, that shows a lot of intimate and personal feelings about your spouse. What is wrong about that? important that we practice these things. We go and do them. Remember, I've told you if there are things that you need to resolve that can become counterproductive to what we've shared, find a way. If you need a professional, a help to support you in that process, go ahead. Book a coach, get a course, get a book. Don't sit there. Do something that you haven't done before and find a way to make sure that the relationship works. It's all about building relationship, building romance in your marriage, and helping yourselves to grow in that. Romance should not be static, it should be dynamic. Dynamic in the sense that everything you do on a regular basis must not be the same. You need to be more creative, enhance your ability to show your spouse that you care by bringing some incredible creativity into your romantic life on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis. That will foster intimate connection. That will foster that bonding, that joy, that happiness, that peace, and that place of friendship that is a solid rock for your relationship to soar on a regular basis. And I believe that if you do this, it will go a long way to change the dynamics of your marriage and relationship going forward. And I believe I've been able to convince you today that romance is necessary for your marriage and relationship. And it's not only at the beginning of the marriage. You can actually change the trajectory and the dynamics of your marriage and relationship if you take action today. We have talked about a lot of things. You can watch this video again and then pick one or two and then give yourself a task with a time bound point of delivery. I'm going to practice this week. I'm going to practice the next week. Just pick four things. Practice one per week. Practice one per week and see how you can make that happen. The problem is that we try one and it didn't work. So, well, I'm not going to do it again. Or he doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. I'm not interested. And you give up so easily. And if there are things that you need to sort out because of what has happened in the past in your marriage and relationship, go and do it because you go a long way to make your relationship to work and to be better. I want to say that romance is your birthright. So please go and be more romantic and make your marriage work. Thank you so much for listening. Let's see if there's any question quickly. If there's none or comment, but I want to appreciate you tonight. I want to say thank you. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead, do so. Can you share this video to your friend, to your spouse if they are not there, to your husband if they are not there, to anybody you know? This might go a long way to help their marriage and their relationship. So God bless you. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm hoping that we'll have another time next week. Take care now and remain blessed. Okay, thank you so much.